Hi there, everybody, and welcome to our council meeting for July 13th, 2021. Summer's really moving along, and council, you see before you the agenda for our meeting, items 1 through 7, including new business before adjournment. I'll call for motion, please, to accept those, the agenda. It is moved by the deputy mayor and seconded by Councillor Fry. All in favor? Aye. And those opposed, and that motion is carried. Thank you very much. Today, we will start, as always, with the minutes from the previous council meeting on June 29th. Folks, I'm looking for errors or omissions first. Moving right along, I'm going to call for adoption of the minutes, moved by Councillor Antle and seconded by Councillor Fry. All in favor? And those opposed? And we have adopted those minutes. Our gratitude to Ms. Lewis for preparing them and accurately recording our conversations from the previous meeting. Council, is there any business arising?
I have one, Your Worship.
Yes, please, Deputy Mayor.
Item number 348 here.
Yep.
And it has to do with the arthrogryposis proclamation that you read in. And of course, we then lit up the City Hall blue. And I just wanted to pass on the sincere thanks that we received, council received, and city staff received on working hard to accommodate that. They were very, very appreciative that the city took the efforts that we did. We came down here and had a little picture taken, and then they came in and had a little tour of the chamber. So they were very grateful. I just want to express the thanks again to my council colleagues, but also I do know that staff were here, you know, that night to make sure that the lights were on blue. And then of course they changed them to orange. So they tested everything out to make sure everything was a go. So it was really a nice story all around. I just wanted to again pass on the congratulations and the thanks. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see that even a proclamation can make a difference in some of our residents, some of the public's lives. Yep. Any further business arising before we move on to committee work? Okay, here's the agenda. Let's go. Community Development Committee, Councillor Fry, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I am really excited about this one. We have our city days coming up this weekend from July the 16th to the 18th. It starts on Friday and until Sunday. And just to highlight a few of them, we have a senior social, we have a family drive-in movie, we have a princess and superhero picnic breakfast, Find Your Center Day, films where you're at, Pride in the Park, Seniors Tea, Beep for Bingo, and Shop Local. On Saturday is the main day, I guess, and that's where the Princess and Superhero Picnic Breakfast is going to take place in St. David's. And then for the remainder of the day, all of the activities are going to be in Centennial Square around City Hall here. We're going to have some of the streets blocked off to allow for people, residents, to move about freely and lots of space for social distancing. So the majority of things are going to take place there from, I think it's from after the Princess Breakfast until about 11 o'clock that night. So we're going to have our Find Your City Center Day, and there's going to be sidewalk sales and food trucks. And of course, we have Rosie O'Grady's and Rocket Bakery here in the square. So there's lots of food, and we're going to have prizes and giveaways and lots of surprises. And we're also going to show our 3D model of our Find Your City Center. And I know we'll all be there at that point to answer any questions. So it's a great opportunity for residents to come out and see what is in store so far. We've had some really great feedback from our residents and businesses on our city center, lots of public engagement, which we really appreciate. So now we have the model to show everybody. So that's exciting. And then later on that evening, we have a new event for City Days, and it's Pride in the Park. And we have, there's going to be 3 drag performances by a drag queen, Shay Moab. And there's going to be 2 short movies in between there as well. Lots of giveaways, lots of fun, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of energy that night. So we welcome everybody. Now, this is a ticketed event. It's free to the public, but it is ticketed because of crowd control and number restrictions. And then, of course, on Sunday, we have our Beep for Bingo, which is in partnership with the Frosty Festival and the Mount Pearl Sport Alliance. So there's lots of things happening. I'm really excited to see residents out and about. With COVID, things have been restricted and we haven't had the opportunity to mingle as much as we once did. So we're looking forward to this one now this weekend. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. For more details, they can be found on the city's website, and public health guidelines must always be followed. So we hope to see everybody there. Next, we have our development permit list from June the 28th to July the 9th. So the committee recommends that the following development permits be approved as presented for that particular period. And there are 4 here in your kit. There's one for May Designs, building extension and new driveway access. Another one for Northbrook Construction, new building and associated site work. And then there's 2 for open air assembly use, Beth Klein Barbecue and Park Avenue Pentecostal Church. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry, seconded by Councillor Antle. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion's carried. Thank you.
Okay, next, the committee recommends that the building permits issued for the period of June 28th to July 9th, showing a total construction value of $2,472,600 be approved. And further, that the occupancy permit list be accepted as presented. And again, these are here in your kit. I was excited to see a number of single dwellings, which means that that's always exciting to see growth and new residents. There's some resurfacing of driveways, swimming pool, exterior renovations, accessory buildings, fences, patios, etc. And I so move.
Again, moved by Councillor Fry and seconded by Councillor Antle, noting, Avery Place, 4 new dwellings down there. Hey, that's nice. Yeah, go ahead, Councillor. Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I was looking at those for Avery Place. I mean, that building is looking for more and more seniors all the time. So this is more senior oriented. So it's good to see. I mean, we got that land started again.
Yeah. Any further comments before I call the question?
Actually, I have just a quick question for
Councillor Fry.
Director Collins.
Mhm.
Doctor, do you know if either of these 4 have garages?
I don't at this point. I can check and I can reach out to people via email.
I
Sure.
wouldn't say at
Don't-
that price.
But I'll double check.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me about it earlier, so seeing it came up, I just thought I'd mention it. And that's it for us, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you very much. And I did call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Motion carried. Next committee report, we switch gears. We're going to go to the Corporate Services and Economic Development Committee. Councillor Antle, please.
Their worship. I am trouble with my microphone here tonight.
I thought you were going to stand up because
Never mind.
that's been our habit for so many years, hey, when
I
you
think-
speak.
I think Councillor Stawes is still here because my microphone's a liar.
Yeah.
We have, first off, we have invoices for approval. And you can see them there in your kit. There's 7 invoices for a total of $1,473,897.04. And you can see on a couple of them, number 1 and 2, it's for water consumption for the months of April and May. April was $249,000 and change, and May was $262,000 and change. So you can see that, our water consumption is taking up a considerable part of our budget. And, nowadays, sometimes let the water run and run and run. We have to pay attention, but our IPW staff are continually looking for leaks. So the more money we can save on water consumption, the more money we have to spend out in other places. And number 3 for regional services for the month was $460,626.42. And for a total of $1,473,897.04. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Fry. Comments? I'll call the question regarding invoices for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Carried.
And the payment register for the dates of June 24th to June 30th, 2021 is for $521,552.52. And so you can see them in the kit there. And these are all the invoices we talked about last month. And that's just for your information.
Thank you. Number 3?
And number 3, as we always do, it's a request for tax consideration. It's for Campia Gymnastics for a total of $27,820.80. And that's for 100% of the business tax. This is a nonprofit charitable organization, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Fry. This is in accordance with our standard policies for all organizations such as Campia. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried.
And number 4 is quite interesting. We have this election time in the city. I think we started a little bit earlier this year, but we had to change some regulations. And our municipal vote by mail regulations has been approved by the Municipal Affairs.
Hmm.
And that's all in your kit now. And we talked about it at our committee at great length today. So expecting your mailboxes coming up quite shortly. There's going to be a kit sent to every homeowner to know how you can register to vote by mail. I think it's a great thing to have, and something new that we can bring to the city. So,
Yep, go ahead, Councillor Fry.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention something because even though we have our vote by mail ballots, a resident has the option, they can still vote in person, or they could register online to receive one of the ballots. Now, the one thing that we need to stress is that if you register for a ballot, then you're struck off the voters list and considered voted. So you can't register for a ballot and then change your mind and say, oh no, I'm just going to vote at the polling station. I didn't get a chance to get to that. Once you get to the polling station, you'll be already indicated as being already voted. So it's important if anybody registers to receive a voting kit to vote by mail, that's the only way that they can vote at that point.
Good point. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I'm excited to see actually how this works out and transpires. And again, thanks to staff for all the legwork that's gone into this because it wasn't an easy undertaking. I'm glad Councillor Fry did bring up the point there. So the question to Councillor Antle there, the kit that every resident is going to get, it's not a voting kit.
No.
It's an information package
Right.
on should they choose to vote by mail.
Mhm.
And if they do, then they apply or register for a kit.
Yeah.
But further to Councillor Fry's point here, because some of the residents have asked me about this. They were, interested in our new process here, and they were curious about, the procedure. So let's say I apply for a kit to vote by mail. There's going to be a deadline by which you have to get that in to make sure that Canada Post can deliver it to City Hall by 8 p.m. on election night. But let's say I miss that date. I miss the date at which I can drop it in Canada Post. We will still have a box here at City Hall that we can deliver our ballot, even though it's by mail. Do we also have the option to go to the polling station and drop off my mail-in ballot? So that's another option. So if
We're going to pass it on to our CAO, Spurl.
So I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that
I
people
thought
understand.
the drop-off boxes there was going to be one at City Hall, a central box. But to the Deputy Mayor's point, will there be others?
Yes, Your Worship. There will be a drop box at City Hall, only one location. I have to confirm, I'm pretty sure, yes, you can also go and drop your ballot at a polling station, but that would be included in the kit that sent out, the information kit. And I would need to confirm that 100% for you.
Okay.
But
The point I was trying to
intent
make, Your
is
Worship,
that-
is that there's multiple ways by
Yes,
which
exactly.
people, if they miss the mail deadline, they still have the opportunity to get their ballot in by voting day. That's the
Exactly.
point I'm just trying to make.
Exactly.
And the
Tomorrow.
positive part, sorry, Councillor, go ahead.
No, I'll wait. I'll finish.
No, I was going to say is that, if for some reason you lose or you don't receive your requested ballot, there's a way of issuing a number 2. So, if people apply early, that will be, I think, in everybody's best interest. But if, say, a ballot, gets sent out to you it would be by Canada Post, generally speaking, that mail, if it doesn't arrive, you can always phone the city back a few days later and say, I didn't receive my first request. The city has a method of tracking whether you've received 1 or 2, and only the number 2 ballot then would be, if it's sent out, would be considered for the election. All good stuff. This will all be discussed in the kit. Generally, the conversations I've had with people are very positive, especially coming out of the pandemic. I think this is, is a contingency just in case. This has taken months to put together, as council knows, as well as staff. We couldn't all of a sudden determine on August 1st whether we should do this or not. We had to start this a lot earlier. And we join with many municipalities across the province and perhaps in the country The common thing that's presented to me is when can we go to electronic ballots? And as I understand, that's because that's controlled by the province. The legislation doesn't permit it. But ideally, for the election in 4 years' time, that will be a modernization of the municipal elections and whatnot. Councillor Antle, to finish off debate.
And as soon as we pass this motion, go ahead.
Oh, please, yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to add, in our kit here is the draft regulations for the mail-in ballot. And section 7, it says, in addition to mailing the return envelope and ballot envelope, voters will also have the option to, number 1, drop the return envelope and ballot envelope into a drop box located at City Hall up to 8 p.m. on election day, which is what you're referring to, Deputy Mayor. Ballots received after this time will be considered spoiled and will not be counted. So anything after 8 p.m. will not be counted. But it also says here that they can also drop their return envelope and ballot envelope into either polling station between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on election day. So there will be an option for there as well.
Good.
So just after this motion is passed tonight, we talked about this in committee today. I think it may be already on our site, but there's going to be on our website exactly all the voting regulations, so our residents can see that. And part of that was also be a mail out that's going out to each resident. So every question that you just asked Deputy Mayor and Councillor Fry answered and the Mayor, it's all going to be on our site. So there's been lots of information there, and the best thing is, it's going to be on our site, but we're going to mail it out because not everybody has internet access. So this way we'll know. And the committee recommends approval of the vote by mail regulations, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Antle again, second by Councillor Fry. All in favor? Those opposed? And we now have regulations that have been approved by the minister and approved by council for the upcoming municipal election vote by mail. Thank you.
If I know Director Pittman, it's on our site now. That's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Infrastructure and Public Works, Deputy Mayor Locke.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just thinking about the voting by mail, again, I think it's prudent that, we're taking proactive measures should anything pop up like happened in the provincial election, right? So it's
I'm
all
glad
good
we're
stuff.
able to think outside the box. And, you talk about past experience, but sometimes you got to remodel how you do things based on current circumstances. And I think it's a really good step forward. I think it's perhaps driven by the pandemic, which appears to be softening, or, the risk seems to be lower, but you never know, Deputy Mayor, do you? So
Right.
we're prepared for anything.
And again, the ultimate goal is to provide as many opportunities as we can to allow people to cast their ballot. So I'm intrigued by your comment, Your Worship, about electronic voting, and I'm hoping that's not too far away as well, because
Me too.
that will only allow people, again, more access to our democratic process. So, okay, on with our IPW committee report here. The first for us, Your Worship, is a contract recommendation under our gas tax program, and that's for some asphalt renewal along Old Placentia Road here. We're recommending approval to award this contract to the lowest qualified bidder. In this case was Modern Paving Limited. And the amount for this piece of work is $461,840. That includes HST. You can see there's 2 sections of work outlined here in our kit. The first is from Richard Nolan to Emerald Drive and Murley Drive. That will involve basically milling and paving along each driving lane in this particular area, 600 square meters or 325 tons of surface asphalt. Also, it involves removal and replacement of certain sections of our curb and gutter and sidewalk, application of an asphalt tack coat, a leveling course coat, an adjustment and replacement of our manholes, our catch basins, our ditch inlets, valve chambers, water main valves. And to the average person that has no idea what they're fit to eat, it's basically the infrastructure in the street that, we're gonna do the full meal deal here. So it'll be a continuation of the work we did last year. Then in section B here, also from Emerald Drive, Murley Drive. So now we're going to continue down along Old Placentia Road, right to the Commonwealth intersection. In this particular scope of work, it's to mill and fill again with asphalt, at least 3 meter wide and 30 meter long area. So the mill areas have been identified by our city representatives to a depth of 38 millimeters. And then, of course, new asphalt will be laid into that area. So again, it's further upgrade to the street network along Old Placentia Road. And again, our committee is recommending that we award this contract to the lowest qualified bidder, Modern Paving Limited, and I so move.
It is moved by the deputy mayor and second by Councillor Fry. Any comments? This is always good. It's inconvenient, but it's always good to make sure that our roads are maintained to the standard our residents expect. I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. The next item for us is another contract recommendation. And this involves the pedestrian walkway underpass remediation tender. So we talked about this several months back about remediating or repairing some of our underpasses here. In this particular case, the contract is being recommended to be awarded to the lowest qualified bidder, Eric Taylor Limited. And the bid amount in this case is $269,186.25. This again includes HST. We do acknowledge that the bid was over budget by about $120,000. Therefore, we're further recommending that this additional amount be transferred from the 2014-2017 multi-year capital works funding allocation. This is work that we cannot delay. It's necessary. We had it inspected and there was some decay and rusting and along some of these underpasses here. So we're recommending that we proceed with this piece of work, and I so move.
It is moved again by the deputy mayor, seconded by Councillor Fry. It's over budget, but I guess, not guessing, the budget was established in a preliminary basis, probably what I would call a Class D estimate back in November of 2020. I'm going to invite Mr. Small, if you wouldn't mind, or sorry, Mr. Smith, sorry about that, manager. Can you enlighten us? I guess basically we've worked that down prior to the tender. We worked that down to a more specific estimate along the lines of a Class B or a Class C, I'm sure.
Yes, we did, Mayor Eager. Thank you. So that was based on the original budget. Yes, that it was over by $120,000. So there were a couple of other areas identified where there was some safety rail that was added to the scope. So we've seen some increase there, but also we refined our engineering and dealt with the consultant. And we worked on the scope to basically refine down to a Class A estimate prior to tendering, and came in at the low bid.
Okay. And Deputy Mayor, you're happy with the budget transfer to cover the funds?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay,
We were
good.
able to do that. And again, this is work that, in my opinion, we can't delay, and the opinion of our engineering staff and certainly our committee. So yeah, we're recommending to proceed as outlined here, Your Worship.
Well thought out. I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? And our motion's carried. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next one here, another positive story or agenda item. It involves the lighting upgrade at our glacier. We're going to put in LED lights. And this is sort of a continuation of what I spoke to at our last meeting, Your Worship, with respect to the measures that we as a city have been undertaking that have contributed to positive climate change initiatives. So we're recommending to approval to proceed with the LED lighting upgrade via the electrical service contract. And the total sum in this case is $288,098, HST included. And the good news about this is this upgrade is going to decrease our electrical demands that the city currently has. And it's going to result in a cost savings of about $40,900. So based on the savings with this new technology, this new lighting, this project will have a less than a 7-year return on this particular investment. So again, another example of initiatives that our staff and council are constantly seeking out for constant improvement. So it's good for the environment, it's good for the budget, it's good all around. So it's a good news story. So again, we as a committee are recommending that we proceed with this contract, and I so move.
It is moved by the deputy mayor and again second by Councillor Fry. It's a no-brainer, council. This is good money, good return on investment. Any thoughts, comments? I'll call. Yes, Councillor Antle.
Just a quick note, is there any other buildings that we can upgrade to LED, or are we looking at that further on down the road? Or, I mean, is this paying off now? I mean, we should be continually looking at this.
Well, I would suggest that at committee, we have talked about this and other environmental initiatives that we can take. So yes, it's on the radar.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wherever we can replace lighting to, again, protect the environment, save some money. But we've also talked about, other opportunities to heat our buildings, for example, with these solar panels and wind turbines. So, they are definitely on the radar, and when it becomes viable and it's within our budget, we certainly will bring it forward to council for consideration.
Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed, carry. Thank you. And
The last three
information.
items, Your Worship, are for information and their status updates. The fourth item here is for Public Works. Again, our maintenance is ongoing. Our road maintenance, our signage, garbage collection, and our recycling, all ongoing. Our staff are doing the usual great job at that. Update for our capital projects. Tenders that have been closed and awarded are for our asphalt and concrete work, our Kenmount Hill Water Tower, and the upgrades that we spoke of here at City Hall. So they've been closed and awarded. And from a facility maintenance perspective, Eastern Health Vaccine Clinic is set up at the Glacier. And I'm delighted to say, partially delighted to say, that I'm scheduled for my second vaccine tomorrow. I'm delighted to get it. I'm just not delighted with the impact that the first vaccine had on my body. So I've basically written off 4 days after that to recover, because that's what it took the last time I was vaccinated. But I still believe in the vaccination. I will be getting it to protect me and my loved ones, and also all my fellow citizens. So that
Yeah.
is it. That's it for us, Your Worship. Thank you.
Yeah, I was up the Glacier yesterday. I had mine, and
You're fully
got
vaccinated.
a sore shoulder.
Mm.
Yeah, give me 2 more weeks, I think, and then I can say I'm fully vaccinated.
good.
But I think you see the numbers coming down, not just in this province, but across the country, and it's because of not as much about the first dose. I think, with the variants that are out there, I think it's about the second dose. So the more people we can get out to get the vaccinations at places like the Glacier, the Village, or wherever they happen to be, go where you can get a shot.
Mhm.
Take the first opportunity to go and we're keeping each other safe by being vaccinated. Councillor Fry.
Yes, I too had my second vaccine last week, and it was at the Glacier. And I have to say, I was so impressed with the organization, and they were so friendly and professional. And fortunately, I didn't have any major effects. But I'm so glad to see them set up here in our city, and it's very convenient and very quick in and out, very well-oiled machine. So thank you to Eastern Health for that.
All right, we'll do the roundtable now, and I'm looking at the deputy mayor, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a few items here. The first is, I just want to acknowledge again the work by our staff and our Legionnaires for the Memorial Day celebrations at St. David's Park. It was a nice turnout. It wasn't as big as last year, like some people came down, but we did have some residents come down and respect the moment, and it was, as always, very well done. So just thanks to our staff for organizing that. They always do a great job. I won't get into the city days because my colleague, Councillor Fry, went through all the details. I'm excited for those, which is great to see. And the other thing I just want to mention is because I've received several positive calls on the trail signage, the wayfinding that we have in our city right now. And I witnessed, some today out for a walk along the Sunrise Trail. And some neighbors in my neighborhood are new to Mount Pearl, and they are absolutely delighted. They can't believe, they just love the city and they love the trailways. And then when they saw the signage, they said, to outsiders that are coming in, you can't know how helpful that is. And I said, well, it's not just to outsiders, because sometimes you can get a little disoriented depending on if you're in the middle of the trail system in Mount Pearl. So these are they look wonderful. They're professional, they're sharp looking. So again, I know this was quite a big undertaking. I think we had 60 signs throughout the city, these wayfinding signs. And it's just another enhancement, continued enhancement to our city trails, because as we all know, during COVID, I know Councillor Entill mentioned this numbers of times, the hundreds of people that are using our trail systems now, even more so since COVID. So this is certainly a welcome addition. So kudos to all involved. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Fry, please.
While we were sitting here, Director Collins sent me the answer to the question I asked earlier. Like, that's impressive. So just for the information of you guys, 53 to 56 Avery Place, they do have garages. So it's going to be interesting there. Thank you, Director. I appreciate that. The only thing I wanted to bring forward today actually is, I want to welcome everybody to the council chambers. It's nice to see some new faces while people are on vacation, well-deserved vacation. Thank you for being here. But the only thing I wanted to bring forward to our roundtable is that I am really excited to be participating in Tim Hortons Camp Day on the 21st. I know Councillor Antle and I have a shift together. I'm sure you guys are going to be scheduling your shift soon. But it's a great event, and all the proceeds from coffee sales that day go to send kids to camp, and that's always important. So I hope to see lots of people, because I'm hoping to be at the drive-through. Just saying, throwing it out there now, and hope to see lots of people come and support
So
Camp
you're
Day.
masking for a lot of support on that day, are you?
Absolutely. And you can't go wrong with a coffee. And
This is
that's it
true.
for me, Your Worship.
Thank you so much. Councillor Antle.
So I guess I'm going to work at Tim's. Got a double. I just go back to the trails that Deputy Mayor was talking about. We all love our trails, but I had to compliment our city too. Our trails were groomed a couple of days ago. I was walking on the trail and I saw this cloud of dust. I didn't know what it was. Really, I'm a councillor. I saw this trail. Anyhow, the groomer came down and we have this brush that grooms our trails. Like, it's unbelievable how good our trails are. And even the residents were telling me after, like, Bill, how did your trail's so nice? And I just saw the groomer coming by. So it's kudos, like the trails. We really take good care of our trails. And that's something that Mount Pearl is known for, is our trails, and they're easy to access. Just a couple of things for me is just a couple of things. July the 7th, we had a staff barbecue here with the city for thank our staff. And we all got out and cooked barbecued hamburgers and hot dogs and some great buns. So it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it a lot. And we really appreciate the staff and everything you do for us. You guys make us look good. On July the 8th, we planted a few trees. We're a part of our urban forestry. We're up on the Summit Centre and we planted some more trees as a part of our weekly initiative, I think, to plant trees within the city. One tree is standing. Well, I was going to say one tree is standing out a lot better than others. It's marked now with my name on it. So, all right. Well, it's certainly good to see our trees being planted. And one is standing out a little bit more. We have music in the park every Friday now, which should, if you get a chance to take part, the music is fabulous. Last Friday we stopped down there and the weather was good, the music was great, and you can grab a lunch somewhere here in the square and sit down and enjoy a little bit of music. And last Friday, just after the someone's trying to get in. Last Friday, after we finished the music in the park, we had a chance, council had a chance to go over and visit the Canadian Armed Forces. They have this called Quilts of Valor. And I never knew what Quilts of Valor were too much till we got an invitation about this. It was with the Canadian Armed Forces, and it's for injured servicemen and vets, right? And these quilts are made by citizens of Canada, and they make the quilts on their own. And then at the end of the day, somewhere in Newfoundland or across Canada, another armed forces personnel will give that quilt to another vet. And we were a witness to one the other day, and the vet was just a young guy, but he had some issues, I guess. And we gave him the quilt, and they said, one of the things is a hug in every stitch. Right. And it was quite emotional. They're going to do it more and more and more. They have a grand opening here on Tops Road. They're here in Mount Pearl on August the 5th, and we're all invited to go up there and we'll talk a little about it more. But if you get a chance to look into this, it's Quilts of Valor. It's quite a great experience. And I think Councillor Fry wants to add some more to that.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the quilt that was presented the other day was made by a Mount Pearl resident, Thelma Healy. And it was absolutely beautiful. There was so much detail.
Very
put
rich
into it.
colors, and each stitch had a meaning. Yeah.
And there's another resident in Mount Pearl who also makes quilts for Quilts of Valor, and that's Janice Savory. So it's really, it's hits home, right?
It's like this location is called Canna Connect, and they just set up shop here in Newfoundland. They're here on Tops Road. It's what a wonderful spot. It's a great location, but it's just for servicemen and retired army guys and girls. But they can go up there and have a coffee or a pizza, whatever they want in the afternoon. It's really, really a nice spot. And they do so much to help their armed forces. It was wonderful to see. It was great. It was great that we got an invitation. And I'm sure you can take a look at it and see a little bit more. And the last thing for me is 35th anniversary for Critters and Things here in the city of Mount Pearl. It's great to see a small business in Mount Pearl, 35 years here on Commonwealth Avenue, and they're surviving. They're doing quite well. I mean, they had a rough time with COVID, I'm sure. And Mark Windsor and his family, it's a family business, and you can go there. I think I think he works 7 days a week. And I guess that's why he's there 35 years. But congratulations to the city. And I'm pretty well sure we're going to drop over later this week and meet with him as a council to drop off the certificate. So
Tomorrow afternoon, I
congratulations.
think. Yeah.
Right.
You said he had a rough time?
With COVID. Oh, rough.
Sorry, I couldn't help but smile. Thank you.
Yeah, you had a rough time. And that's everything for me, your worship.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, like a lot of businesses, especially small ones, it's been a challenge the last 18 months and, we are coming out of it. Hopefully we're coming out of it together and on the same page. And as our communities get safer, I think our economies will get a bit healthier. You mentioned the tree planting was mentioned, but we were also joined for the tree planting by our Youth of the Year. Liam Davis was there along with Sarah Bertrand. And Sarah was our RNC Youth and Service Award winner as part of the Focus on Youth Awards recently. So it was really nice to see them out and contributing to the community. And I promised them, council, that they would be invited back for things like the Frosty Festival or a seniors dance. Hopefully that stuff will all return as COVID takes a steady decline. As I close the meeting, folks, I'd like to acknowledge we have a good supporting staff here today. And although council may do all the speaking in these meetings and sometimes at other times, we're very proud of the people that stand by us and work together every day. It's a great team we have here at the City of Mount Pearl. And I just wanted to acknowledge some of the people that we have in the room, because some of the people are new, with Director Pittman and Director Antle being off on holidays, as well as our former CAO and our clerk, Mona Lewis, has taken the day off. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting. It's good to see Brandon Mullins here, our marketing coordinator, our CAO, of course, Dana Spurl. Good to see you again, as always. That's a daily occurrence, I know. Also joined here by Lisa Warren, who's taken the minutes and recording everything, Executive Assistant Corporate Services. We have our Manager of Engineering, Cliff Smith, and as well our Manager of Finance, Stephanie Hines, is here, along with Director Jason Collins. So on behalf of council, I'd like to thank you for attending here today, and I hope we haven't kept you too long on a Sunday day, but we're glad for the hours, the work and the contribution you make to the residents and the businesses here in the city. So welcome on behalf of council. And on that note, I think it's probably a good time for us to break and go home and be with our families for the night. So I'll call for a motion, please, to adjourn the meeting. And it is moved by Councillor Antle and second